Hey guys, Haight Street Voice, hanging out at my house here in the Haight, and I'm interviewing this guy named Michael Xavier, and he's right over here. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome. So, hey Michael. Michael Xavier is a dear friend, I'd like to say first and foremost. He happens to be the guy who runs the Haight Ashbury Street Fair. He's the executive director. And it's happening September 15th this year, 2024. And
Our
with
45th year.
45 year. Okay, Michael, hey. And so,
Hello.
hi. So my first thing is we did a little research before, and maybe had a flippin' burger. But the preamble is that I just discovered that Michael knew Pablo. I mean, I knew he knew Pablo, but Pablo's first introduction of fair stuff was the Castro Fair, right? With Harvey Milk, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's where we're starting. Because it is a Pride Month here, too, in San Francisco. Welcome.
Do you know what year it is for Pride this year?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I remember one of the earlier ones. Pablo had seen Harvey do the first Castro Street Fair, and he showed up at his Pablo Heising, one of the founders, one of the main founders for 30 years that was at the helm of it.
At the Haight Ashbury Street Fair.
At the Haight Ashbury Street Fair. So he went down to Harvey's camera shop after the first Castro Street Fair and said, hey, we want to do this in the Haight. So he obliged him and came up there with a group of people that became the founders of the Haight Ashbury Street Fair, the first one in 1978.
Wow.
Merchants, artists, concerned people, residents, And it was launched out of the Pall Mall, the bar restaurant.
Which is now Mad Dog in the Fog, right?
Which is now Mad Dog in the Fog. Yeah. And the fair kind of launched out of that kitchen. Eddie Dirch was definitely one of the original people. David Wills, who did the first poster, was part of the original organization. And Pablo had asked Harvey to come up and, have a meeting with those people, which he did. And David Wills, an amazing artist, did minutes of that meeting in illustration. Wow. And he made me a copy of it. It's an amazing piece of art and history.
Love you, David Wills.
Love you, David Wills.
Hey, Tamala.
Hey, Tamala.
Okay, so from there, though, so then the fair starts. So the Haight Ashbury, I always want to say Haight Street Fair. It's the Haight Ashbury Street Fair. It starts. There you are. It's happening. Now, when do you come in, Michael Xavier?
Well, we got to give a little background on Pablo, though. So
okay.
Pablo originally was a digger at that time in San Francisco. There were, feeding the houseless people around. Mm-hmm. Eventually, that ended up moving indoors to the Hamilton Church there on Waller and Belvedere. And they had, at one point, a 4-day sit-down soup kitchen meal program in place. When there was money from the Haight Street Fairs that came in when it was available, the gym there at the church was the emergency family shelter. So Pablo would donate some money there for milk for the kids and stuff.
Wow.
He also slept food on the soup kitchen line. That first group of people that the diggers looked after and fed they called themselves the Wrecking Crew, which in the Haight in the 80s and 90s, you'd see these older hippie guys in full rainbow. Those were the Wrecking Crew. Throughout the 80s and the 90s, all the kids that were sleeping in the park and everything, Mary from Homeless Youth Alliance was taking care of them.
Mary Howe, we love you. Thank you.
Mary Howe, we love you. And the Wrecking Crew kind of looked after the kids in the bushes in the Golden Gate Park, and they called themselves the SF Dogs and SFSF.
And that's shout out to Rack.
Rack was an old digger.
Hey, Rack.
And an old Wrecking Crew.
Yep.
So was Fast Eddie, Rack's brother.
Yeah. We'll stay on point. So and when do you come in? Oh, you're still on Pablo.
I'm still on Pablo.
Okay.
So there they go. So the one crew that's still in this year that's with us is the SFSF. They watch our bicycles. These are the kids that used to live in the bushes that are grown, and they themselves have had kids, and we're passing it on to younger generations to watching our bicycles. They've been with us for almost 30 years.
Wow.
So there you go. That's the oldest group in place from the old community group, which I love. Another thing that Pablo used to do is the Diablo school there, which is now the Chinese immersion. The neighborhood in 78 or so was pretty rough. So Pablo had the Hells Angels chaperone the children from the elementary Diablo school down to Stanton and back and made sure all the merchants had candy. They did this for a long time. You know, I think the last year that it was like that, I think about 300 people were counted, you know, coming out for that and everything.
So let me ask you something. So it seems like your heart, like the fact that you admire or, you know, honor, admire, whatever you want to call it about Pablo, you're from here. So San Francisco matters a lot to you. So the integrity that he showed really resonated for you, right?
Well, I'm a merchant here on Haight Street. I'm also a native San Franciscan. The one thing that really hooked me with Pablo was, you know, working on Haight Street, you've got a few cliques. You've got the street kids that are up there packed up together. You've got the drug dealer packs, the groups. And then sometimes you have what I call the lone wolves, the Mishas, that nobody wants to be around because they're too crazy and loud.
But we do love you, Misha, if you happen to be watching this.
I love Misha.
Anyway, just, yeah.
So this, at one point there was just one guy that was a lone wolf, and he would sit there on the corner of Haight Ashbury in front of the then Gap with a bowl, a marijuana bowl in front of him, not speaking at all, just waiting for people to put a bud in there. I didn't hear him speak for a year, and then one evening I'm walking to the library to go to the meeting for the fair with Pablo, and he's like, "Hey, you coming to the meeting?" And the guy fucking spoke. He looks at me speaking, and he's like, "Well, I'm not, you know, I'm not from here." He's like, "Well, you've been living in the park for what, a year and a half?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, then you're from here. Come on, come with us. We have food there and stuff."
So inclusion is about welcoming people, even no matter what their
He
thing
came
is.
to the meeting. He worked the fair. He hung out for a little bit. Disappeared for a couple of years. Tracked me down at my hair salon. I cut hair on the Haight Street as well for a long time.
One Up Salon, we love you.
And found me and was trying to track Pablo down to thank him for his kindness. And that really stuck with me. It was like, community is not just a bumper sticker. It's like, this is real community where you're dealing with real people and real issues and real shit, you know? And that's what I try to instill back into the fair in 2024.
And when did you first start at the fair? So let's go there.
I don't remember the year, but it was...
Not the year, but just like what brought...
One of my friends, Pablo, had given the gig of doing the backstage catering. Basically, you know, all the workers and the bands. So these people are preparing fresh food for 100 people.
Yeah. 100 cool people.
Tanya Sunshine was that gal. She did it for 2 years and moved to Hawaii, where she is now.
Yay. Hopefully, shout out to Tanya.
Oh, she'll hear it. Hey, Tanya. After that, I took it over. Pablo's like, "Hey, you want it?" I'm like, "I don't know how to do this." He's like, "Well, you want it?" I'm like, "Okay." And then with Alex, who owns the Gold Cane Bar, who passed away, he allowed me to use his kitchen and store the food there. So we prepared fresh food. Neighborhood people came and donated tamale and chili and all kinds of foods for the backstage. It was like the old days, you know? The old days with Merle Saunders.
I was going to say, yeah.
Who closed the Haight Street Fair standing stage for the first 25 years. Everyone that worked on the fair would eat at the Saunders house on the Panhandle for breakfast to get, you know, strength to work for the whole day.
Yeah.
So, you know, Merle's a part of the neighborhood, you know?
Yeah.
Everyone asked the myth, you know, did the Grateful Dead play the fair? I said no. Merle played 25 years.
And Bobby Weir did show up.
Everyone within the Dead played with Merle. But never has the Grateful Dead played under that name on the Haight Street Fair. They all played with Merle.
But I think Jerry's watching.
Hi, Jerry.
Hi, Jerry.
I got to meet Jerry twice.
We love you, Jerry. Yeah. He's in my book. Anyway. Deadheads, buy it, people. All right, so then where do you want to go from there? That you're a native San Franciscan. Do you want to go into that a little bit? Just what San Francisco means to you, maybe.
Well, I mean, that was the big one. That was the hook for me. Was that kid and the community. This is your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have a roof over your head and you're houseless, but this is, you know, you've come here. I mean, Pablo desperately felt for 30 years that he owed it to Harvey, you know, especially after he died.
Yeah.
To continue on these community gathering traditions, You know what I mean? And and he kind of got me hooked on that too. You know, that's what I think of as the fair. It's the best place to have a party, to community gather, to create programs for the neighborhood, you know, things and activities. You know, empowering people. I think we're probably one of the last street fairs that's run by the people, and it's not run by an individual making a whole bunch of money off the fair.
I've heard that the North Beach Festival is pretty fucking rad, though. They're bringing in busking kids, and they're really trying to be...
I'm not comparing ourselves to
Oh, sorry, I kind of...
I'm not, you know...
Yeah, I'm just saying it's about inclusion and, like, you know, make the neighborhood be welcoming of the people that actually live there.
Yeah, I mean, I used to know Marcia Garland, who started the North Beach Fair for the first, I think, 18 years. Yeah. The Merchant Association, sadly, didn't want her there anymore, and she was removed, and the Merchant Association took over. Yeah. This also happened on Union Street with Terry Pilsner, who started the Union Street Fair as an individual, and the Merchant Association wanted to take it over, which they did. And all
right, that's just political stuff. So let's stick it with the Haight Ashbury Street Fair. I do want to say something which I think is interesting is this whole thing of community. I mean, my first concert was the Sex Pistols at Winterland in 1978, and community was like, fuck Ireland, the rebellion against, you know, and now, even though punk rock, they're going to have a punk rock show at the Haight Street Arts Center in July, y'all, and I just saw the Avengers and the Damned. I feel like punk rock's coming back. But the essence of punk rock, that fuel behind punk rock, and where I live at my age at 62, and I've lived, you know, here a million years, is that punk rock attitude within community, as far as be really strong and know who you are within, but we can bring everybody together, because that's all we got left, because there's a lot of clowns at the wheel in America.
Yeah. Well, speaking of punk rock for this year, we have the great infamous Stiffs that are going to be performing on the Standing Stage this year.
Woo!
Troy's the bass player on that. That's my friend Warner's husband. Troy's also the bass player. His other band is the Boneless Ones, one of the original skate rock crossover kind of bands of the 80s and 90s.
You got the Afghan Wigs as well, yeah.
And
the Stiffs, I didn't know.
The infamous Stiffs. And the singer is Scotty, who used to sing for Verbal Abuse during the 80s and the 90s when I saw Verbal Abuse. Love Nikki Sicky, you know, the original VA singer, but I was a Scotty fan. I grew up, you know.
Well, here's the tangent. What was your first concert here in San Francisco, being a native?
Iron Maiden at the Cow Palace.
Woo! What year? Oh, yeah. Nah, fuck the year. Well, Iron Maiden, that was a while ago. Okay, so here we are. So you're running...
So backtrack to the Halloween walk.
Okay.
Is where my kind of deep involvement was.
Cool. So you got deeper and deeper...
Yeah. So when the...
Like mycelium.
When first off Harvey Milk died, and Pablo took over the Castro Street Fair and became the president of that, and then when the Diablo School went Chinese immersion and there was no more Halloween walk, Pablo introduced me to Flower Frankenstein. She was on the board for the for the Castro Street Fair. She created what was called Sugar Valley. There was one street on the Castro Street Fair that no matter what they put down there, a DJ, bands, whatever, no one went down there. They gave it to Flower, and this is the beginning of, like, not the beginning, but this was like the Heckelina, Stud, Eagle era, Tranny Shack. Yeah. She gave all the promoters in the LGBT community free space on this block. So they got to promote their shows.
I-Beam, maybe? Was that still around? No.
No, this is more in the gay community, you know, the Castro Street Fair.
Yeah.
But it got on the paper every year. All they could talk about the papers, they were like blah with the rest of the Castro Street Fair. They were all like Sugar Valley. So he introduced me to
Sugar
Flower.
Valley?
The block was called Sugar Valley.
Oh.
There's a whole environment that they couldn't get anyone to go down there before.
Got it, okay.
Gave the whole for free to Flower, and she got all these people involved. So Pablo introduced me to her and asked me and her to start something for the kids in the Haight, which we created the Children's Halloween Hootenanny.
Halloween Hootenanny.
Which we haven't done for a few years, but we did it. We ran it for about 15 years. This is a free event for the kids 3 and up. Jumper, dunking tank. We used to use the police station as a ghost house. And we created groups that worked with families and children, and kind of the lower end of the social spectrum.
We should mention that with the Haight Ashbury Street Fair. It's kid friendly, sure. I mean, I have a booth there for my Haight Street Voice and everything.
We're totally kid and family friendly.
Yeah.
So we created that whole thing for that environment, which was fantastic, and that was the involvement with all the groups and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We further went into programs where I wanted to include local bands, because I have a million bands asking me to play, and we only have 2 stages.
Oh, Battle of the Bands, y'all. Yay.
So
Linden Studios, we miss you.
I created the Battle of Bands. I ran that for 10 years, 20 bands a year, free entry. You just had to be a band. No open mic. I didn't want to do open mic kind of stuff. And 2 bands got themselves on the stage. It was incredible.
How did they get voted for? How does that work? We don't have to go.
It technically wasn't a Battle of Bands. It was me and Ace and Hugh and those guys from Reality Check.
Shout out to Ace.
Hey guys. No, we did a clap count, just to the audience. It was more silly.
Right. In the moment, blah blah blah.
But yeah, we did that for 10 years, and we did it at a few nightclubs, and also with Carol Lennon and Jimmy over at Lennon Studios. We miss you guys so much.
To the camera.
We miss you guys, Carol.
A little close up. Here it is.
I'm sorry, JC. Sorry, JC. Okay. And then at one point, Robert Leon, who was the executive director of the fair, he started what was during the fair, the Children's Alley, which was again in following just kind of what I had done with the Halloween Hootenannies. Yeah. Something more inclusive with the kids. Yeah. Which implemented that a little more into the street fair. Yeah. We also did, I created we call the Haight Ashbury Street Fair Art Walk with Andrea. This is to give inclusion to artists that maybe couldn't afford a booth or whatever.
Yeah, while you're talking, I'm gonna show one of her pieces.
Okay. But giving inclusion to artists that maybe don't have enough money to get a booth. So she would include them as a part of it. That's going to be something that we're expanding this year, which I'll go into in a few minutes.
What do we call these?
That's Voodoo Kitty.
So, ladies and gentlemen, get your Voodoo Kitty. I think the Voodoo Kitty should be with you, Michael, while we keep going. I think this is good. Okay.
Drea will love that.
See, the Voodoo Kitty made us do that. She made that happen.
I don't even know where to put them all.
Just let him sit there. Or her, or he, or she.
And then what was it?
Bringing in local artists is what your point was.
Bringing in local artists. Yeah. And then another area that I really tried to focus and emphasize on was we call it the nonprofit row, where we give very good discounts for nonprofits coming in, and some a good handful we donate. 1-800-suicide, rape counseling, informational groups,
Yeah. Like Switchboard back in the day, kind of, yeah.
So we're trying to expand those areas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the beginnings of everything. Now, coming back after COVID is where I've changed. I've tried to kind of come more back towards the origins that I just told you. So in 2022, right after they let us have fairs, like when after COVID was over or whatever.
Yeah, we're taking a vacation.
We decided to revamp our security team for the neighborhood. It used to just be people from the neighborhood. We decided to change the program.
Okay, cool.
My friend Randy Larson, who's been with the fair since before it even started, is an old Vietnam veteran. So he and I, during COVID, kind of plotted the whole thing together that we got people from the Swords and the Plowshares and the Veterans Common building, excuse me, to staff it and to see if they want an opportunity. He put flyers up at the buildings, and everyone signed up and got really excited about it. And he had a crew of, 30 or so people that came out, men, women. We paid them very well, and they loved it. They just had so much fun.
Well, that's the important part.
Yeah.
Did they have fun?
They had fun.
That's what Jerry would ask. Did they have fun?
I mean, this is a group of people that are dealing with a lot of stuff. And
I know, but did it make their warm and fuzzies? You know what I mean? Like,
they ask Randy every few days, "Is there anything else you got coming up that we can do?" They loved it so much because all of a sudden they felt like they were part of the community.
Again, it's inclusion. It's about feeling a part of something. That's like the basis of, people taking these drugs because they don't feel included. They're isolated, and so that's kind of the main root of the gosh darn fair is that
we went further into the next year. We got rid of our waste management program and had the Swords and Plowshares people take it over with also some people in the neighborhood. And we got an A+ from the city in Recology that we separated the garbage well. We worked with, what are they called? Zero to Waste Management and Rotation.
Shout out.
Came in and helped us, taught me how to separate correctly.
Yeah.
And they were very essential to it working the way that it did.
Okay, now I'm looking at my notes because we're now into the 21 minutes there, Michael. We gotta make it short and sweet because the attention span. This is not TikTok, y'all. We touched upon the punk rock. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about the Hallinan. I'm going to be interviewing Neil Hallinan, Humboldt Family Farms. It's another one of the interviews in this edition. I'm so excited you're in this one because the cover artwork is done by a dude named Chris Dyer. Shout out to Chris. Peace, Chris. Your art is amazing. And he just came out with a book that's coming out. He's doing a book. It's already out, but he's doing a book signing at the Psychedelic SF Gallery. And the cover is push it forward. Keep pushing forward.
Okay, I just had two last things actually.
Yeah, but no, the point is I'm not closing it down. I'm just saying that it's really cool that this sort of full circle about like he was a street kid. The Hallinan family. Shout out to Neil Hallinan. Who his grandpa, I think it is, Terrence Vincent, family defended everybody from the Hells Angels to, Ken Kesey to, all Grateful Dead. That everything seems to be coming full circle. And I just love the fact that the fair this year, I feel like is going to be really, I feel like all walks, I don't know, I just feel like this one is a magical one. Yeah.
Yeah, another thing that we brought back, coming back after COVID, was we teamed up with Kent, who owns FTC Skateboards. I know Kent, yeah. And Kent has put together a skateboard competition for the last 2 years on Belvedere right there in front of the shop on the side street. And that has been a huge love. Everyone just was standing there like you're watching a band play. Yeah. Made me feel like a kid again, because we would just sit there and watch each other do tricks for hours, if not days. And everyone did that, and they were taking pictures, and they just... And
Chris Dyer's a skate guy, skateboarding is freedom, right?
It created a new interesting thing for the tween-teen dichotomy.
Right.
Because maybe they come to our event, and maybe they like the bands, maybe they like DJs, maybe they like shopping.
At least they have something to do.
But this is something that's more in their pocket, you know?
Yeah.
Carrie's been running the Children's Alley. Carrie Hamilton, she works for Homeless Prenatal. She teamed up with Shark from the Rock Project. And
you mean Rock Med?
No.
No, Rock what?
Rock Project for tween teen kids.
Okay, got it. Go!
This is Children's Alley.
Yay!
So Shark from Rock Project put together 3 competitions for 18 bands at Sunday Streets. I don't have the dates on me, but...
It's okay.
The first 2...
Look it up.
It'll be 9 bands each thing, and 2 bands will win to play on the main stages.
Wow. Because we're recording this on June 22nd. I didn't do the date. June 22nd, 2024, but the fair is September 15th, 2024. So between now and then, we're going to know who it is, right?
Yeah. And then the other new thing that we came up with was... the art walk area that Andrea and I have been doing for about 15 years.
I'm zooming into sorry folks. my phone fell.
We are expanding the artwork off of the main Haight Street and going on to Ashbury Street towards Waller. So I think the south side of Ashbury, and expand it and create more of a not only local artists but a gallery area for people to just be able to view and stuff. So we're doing that. So those are our new things.
So let me ask you this. People that are coming from, because I have a subscriber in, I think not Iceland. Anyway, I think it's Finland. Anyway, so people that are coming from all over the place, you know, to come to the Haight Ashbury Street Fair, that's pretty rad. What would you? Well, okay, maybe we'll. We're not ready to end it. Are you ready to sort of like close it down here?
No.
Okay, but I'm gonna ask you this then.
Okay.
What do you want to say to? I mean, okay, not say. The fair, and you're presenting it to the world, and the essence of the Haight Ashbury and the light lit the '60s. I mean, I guess what I'm saying is thank you, Michael.
Thank you. You're welcome.
I mean, for making the space for people to, you know, you're keeping the thing alive.
Well, I don't think it was a thing. I think it more as an ideal. It's like I feel that I want to, you know, make the fair more stable, more viable, in a community-oriented kind of way. And eventually, you know, I'm a steward. Eventually, I'm going to walk, you know, away from this.
Right.
But
and you endure a lot. I know it's politics. You got to get passes. You got to get all that stuff.
Well, it's not that though. But for me, it's about. I come from like intent, like more so than give me $1.
Yeah.
Personally, I know not everyone's like that, but I'm trying to get a new crew and generation of people younger that are really interested in community gathering activities, creating collective artistic community.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say to them.
Oh. And a place to be yourself and let your freak flag fly if you want to dance around or you want to do whatever you're doing, and it's okay.
And I found out the law very clearly the last year that the naked people have full rights to be at all the fairs.
Well,
and the people have gotten mad at me about them being at my fair.
Oh no, I had a picture of him on my Facebook. Why are you showing a naked guy? I'm like, dude,
my mom took a picture with them 2022.
I mean,
okay. My mother.
Let's not go down that road because it's a hard thing. You know, you got a kid, it's eye level, and it's a hard thing.
Law's the law.
Yeah. Anyway, so okay, keep going because I was ready to wrap it up, but you want to say some more things. It's not that I'm bored. I'm just saying, you know.
Oh, I could go on for days.
Okay. Well, I know.
You want to hear maybe some of the music this year?
Yes. Well, we already talked about Frightwig and the Stiffs.
We got Sergeant Splendor coming out.
Yeah, that's Eric McFadden. Shout out to Eric and Kate Vargas. We love you.
We love them. I just saw them play.
I used to see Eric at the Blue Lamp in 1980. No, I don't know. A long fucking time ago. Shout out to Eric.
I used to.
Blue Lamp.
Yeah. And then we said the infamous Stiffs.
Yeah.
We have another old friends kids band. What do they call it? I think the White Barons.
Wow.
And that's Bob Muskrat. He's the drummer for the Alley Boys. They were one of the before I think that word psychobilly came up.
Yeah.
That would be the Alley Boys now, I guess. They call them psychobilly or something. But those guys rocked, you know. And they're like me and my friends were all in the glam rock scene, big hair and makeup and stuff. And these guys were like pompadours. I think they had combs with their name Alley Boys on.
Well, I mean, that's probably a good moment. Sorry, I'm interjecting, and we're loosey-goosey here, and I can edit this out. But you said Pablo saw the production that you did of Jesus Christ Superstar, right?
Yeah.
And that's how you met him.
No, I met him, I told you through Tanya.
I'm sorry, yeah, okay, but.
Well, later he found out that I did musical stuff. I have a theater company, but it used to be LSB, which was Lunar Eclipse, Sky Castle Records, and Buzz Productions. But basically, it's Buzz Productions, which was me and my amigo, Mr. Armando Lostenau. What's up, brother? We started the whole Buzz thing together, and there was a part of it where we did theater productions. So the first production we ever did was Jesus Christ Superstar at the DNA Lounge, 1998.
Woo.
That was when Rob Schneider, the comedian, and his family owned the DNA. And the manager, Don Webb, gave us, let me book 8 shows there.
Wow.
And Pablo came out closing night where it was like sold out, a line around the block halfway down Harrison. And he's like, why didn't you tell me? I'm like, you didn't ask. Like, I don't know. Well, I didn't tell you. And then he started letting me do other things on the fair.
Let me ask you, I gotta interject. So how did you learn how to organize crap?
Just jump in and do it.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, it wasn't like you went to college and like learned how to produce crap. You just know how to pull stuff together.
I don't know.
I mean, actually, to the young people that have made
a lot of people have always come to me and they say, "How do you get people to do what you want with no money?" And I'm like, "Well, first off, I don't get anyone to do anything. I ask them." Usually my first line off the gate is like, I have no money, can you help me? That's usually the first line off the gate.
Good pitch, yeah.
Yeah, there's no
good
like
pitch.
let me try and hustle you or use you or deceive you. It's like, I've got nothing. Can you fucking help me?
I think maybe it's, do you want to get involved?
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, I used to have a magazine, sure, an art and culture magazine. It started right when High Fructose started, and High Fructose is one of the biggest magazines in the country, in the art world. Now, but either way, we did the churn, and the guy who started it from the neighborhood here, he's the one who asked that question. How do you get people to do that? I'm like, I don't know. I just asked them. This was a person of character that did not. He was always kind of.
Okay, yeah, enough of that guy.
Yeah,
keep going. Let's stay with the thing. Any, I mean, I'm trying to direct us into what you hope for with this fair. I feel really excited about this fair, personally.
I hope we have great weather. I hope that everyone makes a lot of money, all the merchants, all the vendors. I know they got to spend a lot of time, and these are real tough times in COVID. So I hope it gives a real big injection of money and energy and attention back to the corridor.
Let me say something. I just interviewed Scott Vasterling from Humboldt Family Farms, who I met at the Haight Street Art Center. He's going to be in this edition with you. And I said, what do you want to say to the Haight communities everywhere? And he says, vote with your dollar. Support the things that you like.
Exactly.
It's not about voting for the things in Washington. It's about vote with your dollar. And I love that. I'm getting goosebumps right now because it's true. Money's a weird thing, but like if you're digging something, throw $1 at it, or 50 cents, whatever you got, I think that's really important for people to understand in this day and age because it's getting weird out there, man.
Yeah.
We got driverless cars everywhere. They're writing books via machine, like, whoa. Michael, how do you feel about the driverless cars and the AI stuff?
I know a lot of people are working in the technology part of it. I know a few people.
No, but I mean, from your heart, how does it feel to you?
I'm not going to put someone in there.
No.
I feel that AI will always fail. They need the human spark in there still.
Yeah.
To whatever degree. I mean, they're running. They're great. It's really interesting. Everyone's taking pictures.
Have you ever been in one?
No.
Will you ever go in one?
I was in one of my friend's cars. He had a Tesla car where you just took your hands off and it went left for you and did everything and maneuvered away from people, and it was pretty intense, but I don't trust it.
Yeah.
Well, what if all your technology has a bleep and
like your
breaks
phone dies or
So I don't feel comfortable. Good for them. I hope they continue on testing. I wish they would actually do it somewhere else. Like in the suburbs, for a decade or so.
Hey, I'm from the East Bay, man. Come on. All right.
I'm thinking around like a bunch of cows and horses.
Yeah, me too. I had a horse for 10 years.
No, these young minds, they're going for it,
And you know what? These young minds are getting off their phones, what I like to see. A lot of these kids that come in the shop, welcome Haight Ashbury, the shout out to the shop I work. Thank you, Robert Emmons. A lot of young kids from, Amsterdam or, America or wherever you're from, they're not on their phones. They just are eating it up. They're very excited about the art. They're very excited about the music. They're very excited about how weird it is. which is nice to see. You know?
Yeah.
I think it's like, thank God.
Keeping San Francisco strange.
Is that the final? So, what would you like to say to the Haight Ashbury community, or communities everywhere? From Michael Xavier, if you had a big speaker and you were talking to the world, what would you like to say? You are talking to the world.
I love you, San Francisco. I love you, Haight Ashbury. Let's have fun. As Pablo would say, come out and be groovy.
Oh, that's perfect. Give me a peace sign. Yay! We love you, Michael Xavier. Bye.